Hello, folks. This is Jose Torres, Keller Williams on the Water in Bradenton. After doing our class yesterday, I guess there were some questions on how we can use the technology to help us while we're going through our classes. So you can watch and take notes and things like that. So I was going to show you what I do. This works for me. This may not work for everybody. You have to find kind of what works for you, but I figure I show you a little bit about what I do, and maybe that will help you out on your own efforts. So let's say that we have a Zoom session going, right? This is typically what all of us get. So a couple things to notice is that you can resize your windows. If you click on the green button here on the upper right hand, it's going to make it a full screen. If you hit escape, or if you're in a Windows environment, it's going to be the big box. You're going to have an X, an underline, and a big box. If you click the big box, it's going to make the screen bigger. If you click on the underline, it's going to make it just a window size. And if you click on the X, it's just going to close the window. And on the Mac world is red, yellow, and green. But the important thing is, if you move your mouse, you see it here, me bouncing it off the upper left-hand side, little black dot, and you get it to the edge, it turns into a double arrow. And if you click and hold, you can then resize your window. You can do it, side to side. If I go to the bottom and I do the same, just move the pointer on my mouse until it turns into a double arrow, and I click and hold, I can move it up. And if I do it on a corner, I can kind of do both at the same time. Okay? So let's say I'm just going to start a new meeting here, and there's not going to be anybody there. It's just going to be me. Hello. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I have my chat. I'm going to turn the chat on. Okay, so we have the chat and we have the video going. I'm going to grab the top bar here of the video session, so where it says Zoom meeting, and if I click and hold, I can move it over to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the real estate, for lack of a better word, that I have on my screen, and I'm going to divvy it up into a couple of sections. So if you're in a laptop, you don't have a lot of room unless you have like a 17-inch screen monitor. I can split my screen in two. So I'm going to move my mouse. I'm putting it right here on my nose. Move it to the corner, grab it, and I'm going to say, let's say we're going to split the screen in two. So I'm going to make the screen half. Okay? And let's say that I want to take notes as I'm watching the session. So if you look here in the Apple world, we have a thing called Notes. In Windows, I think they have text, or with the new Windows, they changed the word of it, but you have something to take notes on. So you can open that up. Okay. There we go. And here's my note taking. So the same way I adjusted the size on my screen, I'm going to grab the corner here, and I'm going to make it big. Okay. So what you see here is the last note I was working on, which was actually our notes for Ignite. Now, in a lot of those programs, you can just type your notes. I did screen captures as the session was going, and I paste them right here in my notes. And to screen capture something, let's say that I just want to screen capture this whole page, or this whole screen. You would do in Windows, I think it's Shift Print Screen. On the Mac is Command Shift 3, and that basically you see down here. And the Mac world, I have to basically copy it to the clipboard. But then I can go to the end of my notes, and down here I can do paste, like Control V or Command V, and now it basically put in the screen capture that I just did of whatever I had going on my screen. So it's a quick way to, if you see something that they're talking about it very fast, you can screen print it, put it on your notes, and then you can go back to it, in case you don't get the slides after the session. So it's a good way to capture information. Now I'm going to take that out because that's not part of my notes. By the way, I'll share all these notes that I did from yesterday. I'll put them on our messenger chat. So, if you want them, feel free to use them. This is just what works for me. You have to find what works for you. So let's say that we have more space. If you're working on a desktop, we can take this to a whole different level and make it get more information on the screen. So I'm going to resize this 2 windows, come to the corner here, and I'm going to take about half the space. I'm going to grab my other, may have to move this a little bit because I got it right on the edge. Oh, a second, I got it selected. There we go. So one thing to keep in mind is, since the space you're using is not overlapping the other space for the other application, all the applications stay open. But to work on it, make it active, see right now my bar up here is lit up. That means that this is the screen that I have active. If I come over here, nothing is happening. If I click on it once, now this is my active window where I can do work on, but it doesn't close my video Zoom session. So let's say that I open the document that we're using, right? One of the elementals or the toolkit, or pretty much anything that we have going on at the time. We can go ahead and keep it active. I'm going to resize this to about a quarter of the screen. So now I have my notes, I have my video Zoom session, and I have my handout that I can refer to if they say, oh, look at the 3rd page of the handout. I can quickly scroll through and get to page 3. Let's say this is page 3. And then I can click back up here and keep taking notes on whatever they're talking about on that particular page. Lastly, if you want to go real extreme, then you can do a 4th thing here, and I'm going to pre-open, let's say I have my command window open. Yep. Let me reopen, let me close this one. There we go. So let's say you can open Google, right? This is what I did. This is Chrome. See the Chrome here in the upper left. And of course I have a bunch of stuff that I'm doing simultaneously. I have my Gmail going. I have my PySync, which I'll do some videos on this because I found some really cool ways to keep your data in sync, even across Google accounts. So, but I'll do that in a different video. That I thought that was a very cool thing that we could do. But I can keep my contacts open while we're doing the class, or I can do notes, or I can basically just do whatever I want to have active on command if they're making reference to it. Or you can have your CRM if you're not using command, whatever other CRM, and then the same way I did the others, I click on the top and hold, and I start working it so it fits into the space I have left. I'm going to shrink it a little, put it right there, and expand it to fill all the space. So now I work out of a 21-inch screen, so I can see the size and the font and the letter is readable and is workable for me. But now I can, as they're referring to things in command, I can go here in command. If we're looking at something on the handout, I can refer to the handout. I can listen to what the conversation is and keep watching, and I can take my notes. So that is a way that I work when I'm at home, to be able to do multiple things at the same time and keep notes and do work as efficiently as I can. So this is what works for me. You have to find what's going to work the best for you. So, play with it, try it. If you need some help setting it up, or you have some questions, feel free to, message me, send me a message through Messenger or something like that, or an email, and I'll be happy to help you out. So with that, have fun, enjoy, and see you at the next Ignite class. Talk to you later.